Question 18. Katie invests £200 in a savings account for 2 years. It says the account pays compound interest rate at a rate of 3.3% for the first year and then 1.5% for the second year. Work out the total amount after 2 years. The other word I'm going to highlight is compound interest. Okay, so that's very important. It means that you gain interest on the interest. Okay, it's different to simple interest. It has a slightly different approach. You actually get more. So let's work out the end of year one. So let's call this year one. How much is she going to have? She's going to have £200 and she's going to have an extra 3.3%. So in other words, she's going to have 103.3% of what she had. Okay, now 103.3% written as a decimal is going to be 1.033. Okay, so we can convert that into a decimal multiplier to get our answer nice and easy. So that's going to work out at, let's get the calculator out here. So 200 times 1.033, which is 206.6. So she's going to have £206.60. Now let's go for year two. Year two, what's going to happen is what's in the account, 206.6. Now she's going to get an extra 1.5% on top of that. So if we consider this 100% of what she has at the beginning of year two, at the end of it, she's going to have 101.5%. Okay, it's going to increase by 1.5%. So I'm going to multiply the amount by the decimal multiplier for this, which is going to be 1.015. We're going to get the calculator to do that as well. So I'm going to times that by 1.015. And that's going to give an answer of 209.699. So 209.699. I'm going to round this to 2 decimal places because we're dealing with money. She's going to have £209.70. Now that is by no means the only way to answer that question. There are many other ways you could approach it. For me, that's probably the easiest. Okay, Katie travels to work by train and the cost of her weekly train ticket increases by 12.5% to £225. So that's going to be important for sure. So increases by 12.5% to £225. Katie's weekly pay increases by 5% to £535.50. Compare the increase in the amount of money Katie has to pay for her train ticket with her weekly pay. Right, not the easiest question in the world, but we'll give it a go nonetheless. This is a reverse percentage problem. So let's work out actually how much the train ticket increased by. Now, if it increases by 12.5% to that amount, that means that amount, 225, must represent 112.5% of the original. Okay, it's 112.5% of the original because 100% plus 12.5% gives us this. So let's get 1% now. Well, 1% we would do 225 over 112. Let's just get rid of that guy down there, getting in the way. 112.5. And then let's work out 100%. Let's see what the original amount was. it's going to be this 225 over 112.5 times by 100. So it's this amount times by 100. 225 over 112.5 times by 100. Okay, so let's get the calculator to do that for us. So we get, setting it up as a fraction, 225 over 112.5, and we're going to times that by 100 to get 200. So the original train ticket cost 200, and now it costs 225. Let's look at the wages. So that was the train. Here is her wages. Okay, and we're going to do this in the same way. If her pay increased by 5%, that means she has 105% of what she used to get, and that is the amount, £535.50. By the way, if you're wondering what this topic is, it's called reverse percentages, if you want to look it up. So we're going to get 1% by dividing by 105, 535.5 over 105, and then we're going to get 100% by timesing by 100. 535.5 over 105, that's a 0 there by the way, not a 6, times by 100. We're a wee bit tight for space here. Okay, so let's clear that off. It's a fraction. 535.5 over 105, times that by 100 to get the original amount. We're going to get 510. So that's going to equal 510. Now, we're asked to compare. What can we say? The original amount for the ticket was £200. So it's gone up by £25. We can see that. The original amount for her wages was 510. That's now 535.5. So it's gone up £25.50. So what we could say is that the cost, this is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to type it just to make it a wee bit neater because I know sometimes the writing's not the best. The increase in her wages covered the increase in the cost of the ticket. So she's very lucky that at the time they increased her wages and her train ticket went up, but actually the increase in the wages was more than the increase in the ticket. How much more? It was 50p more, by 50p. So the increase was covered the increase in the cost of the ticket by 50p more.